the root of all of your suffering is because you deny what you are. 100% of suffering is rooted in your denial of her. Your denial of divine feminine that is you, the creator, the one, the goddess. That is what you are. Divine feminine energy is what you are. It is where you come from. It is what you're made of. It is the truth of what you are. Man or woman, all beings. The only thing that exists in truth is divine feminine energy. Let's understand this. Every human on this planet comes from her, comes from woman. Inside of the womb, in the first several months, every single one of you was female first. You were female. You come from the feminine. You are feminine. The source of creation is feminine. That's what feminine energy is. That's what divine feminine is. The source of everything. The root of all suffering comes from, first, the desecration of the feminine, not having a fucking clue what she actually is, and then denying her from yourself, which means you're denying your source creator self. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls and mystical beings. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, and we are going to dive in to what 100% of suffering is rooted in, because this is what it is actually rooted in. It is rooted in your denial of her. Your denial of divine feminine that is you. Let's dive in. It's important to understand this. This is very literal, by the way. This isn't symbolic, what I just said. It is extremely black and white, although to understand it is very abstract. So let's break it down. What do I mean? All right. Number one, the creator of all that is, the one, the goddess. That is what you are. Divine feminine energy is what you are. It is where you come from. It is what you're made of. It is the truth of what you are. Man or woman. Men, listen up very carefully. It is what you are. It is what you originate from. It is you. Okay, all beings. The only thing that exists in truth is divine feminine energy. Let's understand this. In order to understand this, let's give a little reminder. We have to understand patriarchal brainwashing and mind control, what they've brainwashed you to believe in the inverted world, the upside down, ass backwards world, the world of inversion, which is old earth, which is patriarchy. That prison planet, that system of enslavement, a system of inversion. So not only did they completely desecrate what divine feminine is, remove her as much as possible from this planet, they also inverted the truth about what she is, including to demean and degrade and enslave her. They objectified her. So that means they objectify all women. That's where misogyny comes from, in order to exert control and enslavement and oppression over women. So what divine feminine is not is makeup and your hair did and your nails done. your fucking lips and your big ass and your booty, you know, wearing your thong bikini on the beach and showing your ass off so that you objectify yourself. You can go do those things. Go do whatever the hell you want to do. I mean, I hope you're not, I hope you're healed enough and you start to evolve enough that you're not actually doing it because patriarchy brainwashed you to do that and objectify yourself. But if you want to go wear your thong bikini on the beach and be almost completely naked on the beach, as a woman, do it. Go ahead. You want to have your nails done, to go to get your goddamn nails done. That's fine. Go do whatever you want to do with your hair. Put whatever kind of makeup on that you want to wear. None of that is divine feminine energy. None of it is divine feminine energy. Dressing up in sexy clothes and high heel, none of that is divine feminine energy. It isn't feminine. It is a social construct. And of course, it's put in place in order to objectify and dehumanize women and oppress them and control them. Of course, that's all part of patriarchy. It isn't divine feminine energy. So all of your mind control and all of your brainwashing of what the divine feminine is, she's subservient. Get the fuck out of here. None of it is divine feminine. It is a misogynistic social construct. All of that stuff. It is nothing but that. Because if you believe in all of that bullshit, it is easy to control you and enslave you. Because if you believe all that bullshit and you objectify and you dehumanize women and what you think the feminine is, and you make her subservient and a slave to you, all that bullshit, all that misogyny crap, if you do that, it's easy to get you to rip out the feminine, disconnect the feminine, the creator, from yourself. When you do that, you're going to then, you demonize it within yourself, you're then going to demonize it in other people and in other women, in other human form. Okay, let's keep understanding this. Number one, the feminine births you. You come from her, period, end. First, energetically, the creator, the goddess, the only thing that exists. God is a fucking made up bullshit patriarchal lie. God doesn't fucking exist. All you think you're so awake and you still use God. God is 100% exclusive of feminine. Look at the word God. Now let's look at the word goddess. It's all inclusive because it's oneness, because she is oneness. It is the only truth that exists. She, S-H-E, includes he in it. She is where you come from. She birthed you. Okay? In human form, she, woman, you come from her. Woman includes the word man in it because she is oneness. She represents the creator. She's birthed you. You are feminine before you are ever anything else because of what feminine actually means. You are the one, the all, a fractal of her, of the all, of the one creator, the primordial creator of everything. When you are growing inside of a woman's body, she is creating you. She represents the primordial creator in human form because she's creating you from within. She births you to the external manifested physical form so that you can have an independent life in physical form. She created you and she births you into existence. That's what woman did for you. Every human on this planet comes from her, comes from woman. Inside of the womb, in the first several months, every single one of you was female first. Every single one of you. You were not male, female, male. I was born male. No, you weren't. You were female. You come from the feminine. You are feminine. The source of creation is feminine. That's what feminine energy is. That's what divine feminine is. The creation, the source of everything. You were female in the first several months. Ovaries descend and become testicles. The clitoris descends and becomes an outside external appendage, the penis. Do you understand? This is biology. This is science now. You come from her. She creates him. Female first. then becomes male, and then you're birthed as male, man or woman. Do you understand? Everything comes from her. You're her. What does patriarchy do? Teaches little boys to desecrate, psychologically abuse themselves, and deny what they are. Stop crying like a little girl. They're misogynistic from day one. They teach you to psychologically disconnect from your source, creator, that is you in human form. You completely desecrate, demean, objectify, destroy, disconnect from her, which is you. You were female first, then you became male. Everyone is divine feminine at their root. Everyone is divine feminine at their core. Everyone is divine feminine at their source. It isn't outside of you. It is, but it's also inside of you. It is what you are. When you understand what divine feminine energy is, and that is social construct, misogynistic bullshit, divine feminine energy is the creator, the primordial source of everything. Everything is feminine. I've taught this before. You can get rid of masculine and life would thrive. When you get rid of feminine, everyone dies. Everything dies. Because feminine is the source of all. She's the source of all. So guess where your suffering comes from? It comes from the root of all suffering. Comes from, first, the desecration of the feminine, not having a fucking clue what she actually is, and then denying her from yourself, which means you're denying your source creator self. The truth, the big divine you that you are, you're literally disconnected from it, from her, and you replace it with all this other bullshit. Lies, a false God, he, God the Father, all this fuck. No man can create and give birth to life. You're in the inverted world. You keep looking at him, and you look at it like man, woman, instead of what she is. The truth about what divine feminine energy is. So when male dominating horrible beings came to claim this planet and take it over, this feminine planet that they came to seize and take over and enslave all the beings on here, that toxic masculine domination, patriarchal destruction energy does nothing but that. It steals, it enslaves, it sucks the life force energy. It has to trick you and manipulate you. So there goes erasing all of history and then putting lies in replace of that. And brainwashing, of course, simultaneously. And completely inverting everything so that you'll deny her. Because if you realize what you actually are and you wake up to she, the goddess inside of you, you have the ability to transform, to heal, to elevate. Only feminine energy transforms. Only feminine energy alchemizes. There's no such thing as quote unquote, what masculine energy is, can do any of that. So your source of suffering, the root of all suffering stems from this. So you need to alchemize, heal, unplug from, elevate out of all of the mind control and the brainwashing, the inversion of patriarchy. Okay, men, when you stop believing the bullshit about what feminine is, it's the made up fucking social construct in order to enslave, manipulate, and control all humans, men and women. That's what misogyny is. Okay? No such thing as this girly shit wearing a sexy dress, that's feminine. Anybody putting a fucking dress on and heel, that doesn't make you divine feminine. It has nothing to do with anything. Okay? And it's really important that you actually start to get this. Because the more you deny her, that means you're denying it, the truth of what you are. Your divine nature is nothing but feminine. Masculine comes later, and we don't even need masculine to live and survive. Nobody needs it. You don't need masculine. You don't even understand what it is. And I know it's confusing. Brainwashing is meant to confuse you, for Christ's sake. That's why we have to unfuck ourselves. Okay? Only you can do that. You have to be willing and devoted to learning for real, to unplug from it all. Okay? When you embrace her, you're embracing your divine nature. Your divine nature is her. That means the creator part of you, the part of you that transforms, the part of you that heals. Do you understand? Stop putting a manipulated, inverted social construct to that definition. It's false and it's brainwashing. You've got to get out of that. The root of all of your suffering is because you deny what you are. You're denying what you are, which is divine feminine. Is the only thing that exists in truth. You take everything else away, that's what's left. A creator that bursts things into creation. That's feminine. So that is what you are first and foremost. You are that first and foremost before you are a cow, before you are a horse, before you are a plant. You are the primordial creator, the original source. You're her. You are divine feminine energy, birthing things, creating things, and bringing them forth into the physical. You birth things into existence. That is her. Goddess, primordial, creator, source. Do you understand? It's her. It's divine feminine energy. The mere fact that all humans are female inside of the woman's womb, you come from her. You're female for several months before you turn into a male, if you turn into a male. Okay? Why are you female first? Because you come from goddess. Hello? Let it click. Because those of you who want to raise your level of consciousness, you want to heal for real, you want to get out of that old earth, matrix of enslavement. That's what patriarchy is. You got to unplug from all of the lies and all the brainwashing and all the bullshit, and you have to embrace what you are. You are divine feminine. And you have to understand the truth of what that means, not some social construct of you wear a fucking skirt that makes you fat. What the fuck's have to do with that? That has nothing. That's brainwashing. It's misogyny. It has nothing to do with anything. You're not divine feminine because you put a fucking skirt on, man or woman. That's not what makes you divine feminine. It's not what divine feminine energy is. It's primordial creator. It's the goddess. The original source that all things come from. It's the original light, the original consciousness of all. Okay? So your suffering comes from the denial of that. Living in the inversion of what you actually are. It always goes back to divine feminine. Always, no matter what. So, I know it's a big challenge for all you brainwashed men raised by patriarchy. You've been told everything fucking opposite. That's the point in the world of inversion, to brainwash you and enslave you. That's the point. I mean, it's done by design. You got to wake up to that. I know that's challenging, but the truth of what you are is that the divine feminine. Nothing else exists. That's first. That's the original. That is, strip everything else away. When a dog leaves its canine form and passes over and crosses over, its soul is back in its original divine feminine form. The original light, the original form. Okay? That's what divine feminine is. It's the light. It's the consciousness that creates everything. It births herself. She births herself into different forms and then allows those aspects of her go and create, go experience, go have free will choice, go be. You're a divine creator being because you're me. Go create. Go experience in a different form, in a physical form, in a human body. and a cat, as a tree. Okay? That is the original source. Only truth that exists. All comes back to oneness. That's what oneness is. So in the inverted world, you're going to be told he, in order to desecrate and remove the feminine, because that's how the beings that came to take this planet over needed everybody to believe that in order to enslave them. Why? Because you're disconnected from your source of power when you do that. Your creator life force energy isn't a masculine energy. It doesn't even make sense. You don't even understand what masculine is when you think that. So connect to the light within. That's divine feminine energy. The light that alchemizes and transforms energy. The wisdom, the way of wisdom. All of that is the feminine, period, end, which is what you are. Do you understand that when you're taught the truth and you're like, what do you mean? I'm not a man. You'd go into this fucking frenzy because you're in such strong programming to deny her and what you are. Whether you're in the form of a dog or a horse or a bird or a man or a woman or a snake or a dragon or a Pegasus, all of that is divine feminine energy. Okay? We don't have enough language to represent all of the things in order to educate ourselves. That's part of why language is used and the words are used the way that they're used. Like the English language is filled with limitation, scarcity, lack, and also spells to make it harder to learn all of this and become. Again, done by design. You have to understand that. There aren't even enough words or language to describe what some of this means. Why? Because they want you to think being quote unquote feminine is to put a skirt on and a sexy dress and some high heels and lipstick and get your fucking Brazilian butt lift and all that shit and show it off. And then to objectify that and demonize it, own it, dehumanize it, like that's part of the old earth, the patriarchy, the word of inversion. We don't have enough language to say, well, what is that social construct of being, I'm going to call it right now, girly? What is that social construct? No, they took the social construct that they wanted to brainwash everybody into, and they called it feminine in order for people to be brainwashed into what divine feminine means and is. Because it's easier to objectify, it's easier to try to force into submission and subservience. It's easier to oppress when that's what you think feminine is. That's why the language is, in the English language, it's the goddamn same. Feminine, divine, feminine, oh, same thing. Let's objectify and dehumanize all of it. You're desecrating primordial creator that of all that is, that literally created you, that you are an extension of, which means you're desecrating it and destroying it inside of yourself. And because you desecrate it and destroy it and objectify it and oppress it within you yourself in human form, that's where all your suffering comes from. You can't not suffer. When you do that, you can't not suffer with programs and emotional distress when that's what you're doing to yourself. That aspect of you, you're destroying, denying, making bad, wrong, weak, blah, 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 all the brainwashing that comes with that. Instead of embracing the powerhouse inside of you that is the way of purity of what divine feminine divinity itself is. Okay? And again, it is what you are. You are an extension of that, in a physically incarnated body. Anything other than that original source energy, which is divine feminine energy, oneness energy, it's all, that's the same. That's all the same. Anything after that is secondary energy that is not life force energy. For example, masculine. We're adding now, oh, let's change this original energy and let's have this fun experience being, you know, male or masculine or a man or whatever. Like, that's secondary. Who you are, even if you're you are a biological man, do you understand the creator, the extension of the primordial source goddess of all that exists? You are a fractal of her. And when you deny that within yourself, you're denying your ability to heal, your ability to elevate, your ability to become the way of wisdom, because she's all of it. She's everything. That means you're denying literally your divine nature. You cut yourself off from it. And when you cut yourself off from it and you disconnect instead of become the way of connection with the truth of what you are as the way of truth, as the way of connection, you completely live your life severed off from that in an inverted way. And then you wonder why you suffer. You wonder why you're trapped on a planet that enslaves you. But you're anchoring it in place and you're contributing to it and you're consenting to it on an energetic level, because what you don't realize in all of the brainwashing and the mind control is that you're doing it too. You're doing it on the micro level to yourself. You severed yourself off from her by saying you're him. Funny, again, why would we call it she? She includes he. It's oneness. That's why. Do you understand? Divine feminine is oneness. It is all, everything. When you go to God the Father, he, him, masculine, male-centric, when you do that stupid shit that you've been brainwashed to do, you're literally excluding everything except this one thing. God slices and decapitates Goddess, completely fucking removes her from existence and lives like he's the only one that exists. That's male centricity. That's God the Father. It excludes. That is severance consciousness. That is patriarchal consciousness. That is domination. Funny, Goddess includes all. Him and her. She and he. Because he is within she. Do you see it yet? It's time to decenter the inversion, the lies, the absolute exclusion of the creator goddess that created all of us and that we are in living physical form extensions of. And it's time to honor and get back to the truth as the way of truth, as the way of honoring, as the way of connection. All suffering, no matter what level we're at, is because we desecrate her. We've excluded what she is. The divine feminine is the primordial source creator of all of us. We are an extension of her. H-E-R. It's oneness. It includes both. Do you understand? Is it sinking in yet? So when we learn how to evolve for real, when we learn how to alchemize our programming, our conditioning, our traumas, you connect energetically to that spark of light within, and you just start there. You just start there. It's the most basic thing to start with. And as you expand that energy and connect to it, and you allow that to start to grow, that's the divine feminine. The divine feminine is pure power. It isn't anything less than divinity itself. She is divinity itself. She is the creator herself. You're accessing that, connecting to that, and allowing that to start to transform the trauma, the pain, the suffering, right? When you deny that and you stay trapped in your mind and you're excluding the feminine, what the divine feminine is, from your existence, you can't do anything but suffer. You can't do anything but stay in complete addiction to mind and thinking. Why? Because you've excluded your source creator, which is you, from your existence. Energetically, you've severed her. You continue to destroy her by saying, I can't feel this way. Emotions are bad. I don't want to feel negative emotions. I'm too powerless. You're too powerless because you've removed the divine feminine from your existence. She's pure raw motherfucking power. She is dragon fire. She is everything to transmute and burn negative energy with. That's the divine feminine. Period. End. That's the part of you that you're severing off yourself from. And then you're like, why can't I heal or transform or elevate? Because you're too busy trapped in your mind talking about it, intellectualizing everything. That's why. Knock that shit off. Talking about your problems don't heal your problems. Well, let's come up with solutions. Okay, masculine energy that doesn't transform, fuck all. Connect to the divine feminine. That's what you are. That's the truth of what you are, man or woman. Period. End. Unplugging from the patriarchal world of inversion, everything is upside down and backwards. Truth or lies? Lies are often truth. What you see in fantasy movies and TV shows. They call it fantasy and fake because the majority of the superpowers and abilities that humans actually have, that's the truth. But in an inverted world, they don't want you to ever know that. So they call it fake, fantasy, so that you'll never believe you have those powers inside of you. And you'll never do the work to get there, to activate them and activate that DNA, that 12-strand DNA. You can't become that when you're denying the truth of what you are, which is first and foremost a divine creator being, not a human. Your source, the light, your oneness, your her, goddess first. Your human second. Every soul is that first. And then they're a physical incarnation, extension of her, secondarily. So the plant, the tree, the deer, the rabbit, the woman, the man, all the same, even though we are all extraordinarily uniquely different. You have to start to wake up to what that is and what that means for real. You want to change your suffering, stop demonizing your fucking emotions. You're demonizing her. When you do that, stop demonizing the power that you have, the divine power that you have inside of you. Oh, I don't want to feel pain. Everything needs to be easy. Everything needs to feel good all the time. Positivity, joy only. How fucking weak and pathetic and powerless are you? What is wrong with you? How dare you show up like you're that powerless? But that's what you do when you exclude the divine feminine from your existence, from your emotional being, from your mental being. That's exactly what happens. You become weak and pathetic and powerless, and you need everything to be positive and everybody walk on eggshells around. Nobody trigger me. And then you're a victim. Everybody's an abuser and I'm a victim. Maybe if you activate the divine feminine energy, you wake up for real, turn all that shit around, alchemize all of it, and start to emanate the power that you actually are and shine as the divine light that you are. That's what divine feminine energy is. So it's time to flip the script that is nothing but inversion, lies, manipulation, bullshit, and brainwashing and mind control. Connect to the truth of what you are. And that means to connect to her the divine you that is an extension of the primordial creator, goddess. Every time you use, oh, but God, you're desecrating and completely severing yourself off from the actual creator, not the false God that patriarchy wants you to fucking believe in. God the Father, everything's Father, Son. That's funny. How the fuck were you birthed? Because you all come from woman. Are we this stupid still that you can't see what's right in front of you? You pray to a God that came from her. So the beings that call themselves gods and want you to pray to them and took over this planet, those beings are in such toxic domination, takeover, control, because they've severed themselves off from her. This is what happens when you sever yourself off from the divine feminine, from your source creator. You slowly descend into nothing but evil and darkness because you're severed off from your source of creation, which means you severed off within yourself as an individual being. You can't then live in oneness. Nothing that you create can come from oneness when you do that. And you lose the ability to even create, which means you have to do what? Steal the life force energy from everybody else. Guess what life force energy is? Divine feminine energy. So they want to oppress women, which is where misogyny comes in, because if they oppress and make women, make them slaves, they get to harvest the divine feminine inside of them. When they oppress and enslave men, you don't even know that you have divine feminine because you're taught it means putting a fucking skirt on and some paint in your fingernails. Jesus fuck. So because you deny that part of you, because that's part of the mind control and the enslavement and the brainwashing of patriarchy, they get to harvest your life force energy from you. You then continue to descend into the darkness, become more and more and more toxic, violent, abusive, narcissistic. Why? Because you've severed yourself off from the divine feminine. And what is innately you is being harvested for other people to use to continue to create a prison planet and a system, a global system of enslavement. Oh, is it clicking in yet? So all of the roots of your suffering, no matter what kind of suffering you're moving through, man or woman, it's because you continue to be plugged in to the patriarchal world of inversion, which isn't truth. You're severing yourself off in severance consciousness, duality consciousness, patriarchal consciousness, separation consciousness. It's all the fucking same. You're consenting to it and you're choosing to continue to live as that. All this crap in the world with this male-centric bullshit. My peace, my peace. She should be my peace when I come home from work. Meh. Fuck stupid, you fucktards. Bunch of fucktards. You keep listening to it. You're talking about your peace. First of all, connect to the divine feminine inside of yourself. You're nothing but peace, you dumb fuck. Grow up. All this emotional fragility. Your emotional fragility is not my fucking problem. Grow the fuck up. The way of responsibility is the first way of oneness. You take accountability for how you're showing up in this world and the fact that you live in severance consciousness and you sever yourself off because you're fucking brainwashed and mind controlled by patriarchy. And it sucks that we have been. It sucks. There's a spiritual war going on. We're in the middle of it. And we show up incarnated on this planet with no memory of what the hell's going on. Not a fair fight. It's not. It sucks. And yet, this is what we chose to be born into. So become the warrior you're here to become. Wake the fuck up. Embrace the divine feminine and take the time to learn what that actually means. And it is an energetic experience. You can't do fuck all intellectually. None of this is intellectual learning. We teach at the energetic level with absolutely everything, experiencing it yourself, teaching you how to transform and transition and shift energetic frequencies first inside of yourself at Masters of Self University. That's the foundational courses of our classwork at this metaphysical University of Oneness Consciousness. We teach you how to do it. You experience it for yourself. You need to allow and learn what it means energetically to have your soul fully integrate and come online and guide you. Your soul should be your number one teacher. Your soul is the divine feminine. It doesn't matter if you're a dragonfly, if you're a honeybee, if you're a man, if you're a cow, a frog, a woman. None of that matters. The truth of what you are is divine feminine. Your soul is the divine feminine. And you have to start to understand what that means and get out of the fucking mind control, brainwashing, delusional bullshit of what the word feminine does not mean. Which is why you've been brainwashed and thinking it means sexy skirts and lust and boobs, tits and ass. No, none of that is what divine feminine means. So you have to dismantle all of that fucking brainwashing in order to start to open up and embrace what your soul is. The divine nature of you is divine feminine, period, end. You come from her. You were birthed by her in the non-physical energetic form, and in the physical form, you come from her. You were birthed by her. From the source of oneness, what oneness is. That's what she is. She's oneness. And that's what we're here to wake up to, evolve into, once again, remember and become. Beings that have descended so far into the darkness in severance away, farther away from her, excluding her completely, like she doesn't fucking exist. God the Father exists. That's a dominating being who wants to think of himself while he covets and is jealous of what his creator actually is, which is she, the goddess, the original goddess, the source of all, the primordial source. So there are a lot of beings that started to distance themselves and disconnect, and then it became to the point where it's complete severance consciousness. And of course, if you're severed off from your original source, the truth of what you are, what are you then going to show up as a being and be? All the shadow self, the false self, what you're not, the truth of what you're not. You're going to show up as this dominating, raping, fucking evil, horrific, violent abuser who wants to enslave and control. What? Because you're out of control. That's why you want to control everybody else. You're chaotic. You're out of control. So those beings are the beings that took over this goddamn planet, and that's what we're in spiritual war over. For you to wake up and remember what you actually are transforms all of it, which means you have to wake up and remember her, goddess, what you actually are, a fractal of, incarnated into this human form. Every being is her. Got to heal the misogyny, people. You have to wake up for real. You have to stop using even the terminology that severs you from her, from what you are. She's not outside of you. She is outside of you when you sever yourself off energetically from what you are, from what she is, your creator, your source. Even in human form, what you, every fucking one of us, for the first several months inside of the woman's body who was creating you and bringing life existence into this existence, this life form, your life form, when you were inside of a woman's body, growing and being created by her, you were also her first in the first several months. And then you either remained her or you became male. But you were her first. That is your original form. That is your original blueprint. Soul print is nothing but divine feminine, is the only truth that exists. You have to start to comprehend what that means. And then what a gift to, if you're a man, for example, what a gift it is to be able to be something in human form that's so different from her. You're getting to experience being so different and yet still being her. All at the same time, that's oneness. It is so beautifully divine. And yet, because of the brainwashing and the domination and the control of patriarchy and the inversion that we lived in, that we come from, you've severed yourself off from the very source that you are an extension of in human form. You've severed yourself off from the divine feminine in human form. And you've severed yourself off from the energetic primordial source goddess that created you to begin with. Severance, severance, severance. That's how humans have been brainwashed and conditioned to live. No wonder you're suffering. No wonder there's war. No wonder there's not an uprising to change it all. Because the uprising, the revolution, is you realizing the truth of this, unplugging from it, activating and connecting to her again, which is you, and living and becoming this, the truth of what you actually are, your divine nature. Divine nature is divine feminine, because that's oneness, period, fucking end. And that's what it boils down to. It's that simple. All your suffering comes from the denial of her, which is the truth of what you are. Wake up to that, your suffering will end. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.